Happy Thursday, guys. I'm Ryan, Michigan Storm Chasers here. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time watching, feel free to hit the thumbs up and also subscribe buttons as we do other content like this, breaking down the forecast, what to expect 24/7, 365 here at Michigan Storm Chasers. Let's go ahead and dive into the forecast. There's quite a bit to break down here. So on your screen is the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center Day 2 Severe Weather Outlook. In green, dark green, should I say, I'm going to start drawing here. In dark green color, that is a level 1 out of a scale of 5, so a low-end risk for severe weather. That extends from the western UP all the way down through Grand Rapids, over toward the Lansing area, back through Hillsdale. In yellow here, we do have a very small portion of Berrien County and a level 2, slight risk is what they call it. Further to the west and south, though, across Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, and portions of the Ozarks, level 3 in orange, level 4 in red out of a scale of 5. So I'm not going to say a high risk, but it's called an enhanced risk in orange and a moderate risk in red for severe weather. So if you guys have friends and family living off to the south and west across those general areas, give them a text. Tomorrow evening could be a dangerous day for severe weather with damaging winds, tornadoes, and also hail, all of which could be strong to perhaps significant in nature. So keep that in mind. But this is the Michigan forecasting channel. Let's focus in on Michigan. So we have a severe risk first of the season for us here that extends again from Iron River, Iron Mountain areas, all the way down here toward Ludington, Manistee, through Grand Rapids, over toward that Lansing and Hillsdale area. Let's go ahead and break this down. So we have 4 main ingredients we look for: shear, lift, instability, and moisture when it comes to severe weather. Let's go ahead and break down what to expect here for the Friday evening time frame. Let's go ahead and start with the forecasted radar. So going through today and tomorrow, we're going to be pretty dry in nature. We're not going to see much in the way of any showers or storms until we get close to that Friday evening. Perhaps a passing storm or shower up there in the UP Friday afternoon around that noon time frame. Could see a few passing storms up there. We're going to be dry, but then attention turns to a line of storms that develops late Friday evening. This is at midnight at this point, so now we're in Saturday morning time frame. We're seeing that line push up into the state of Michigan. This is at 2 a.m. Saturday morning. Here is 3 a.m. Zooming in here, we could see a line or perhaps some individual cells move into the southwest corner of the state, as well as portions of the UP. We're not going to ignore the UP as well. It looks more intense down here across the western part of Michigan, yes, but the overall dynamics and environment remains pretty much the same across the general area here. So don't be shocked if the UP also gets in on that severe risk here. So this is at 3 a.m. Let's go to 4 a.m. We're going to start seeing that push across state, 3 to 4 in the morning here, Saturday morning. As it does so, it'll bring a chance for damaging wind gusts across the state. All right, let's go ahead and talk about our forecast here. So for Friday, we went ahead and put our own spin on things. The SPC is the official source for severe weather outlooks, but we also make our own forecast based on what we see. We think the highest threat for severe weather currently sits in the Kalamazoo, Niles, and Coldwater area there in that yellow highlighted region. We call it a medium risk. We could, however, see a wind risk extend further north and east into those green and also blue areas. That is going to be to account for the very strong wind fields the system has. It's not going to take a lot of instability to mix these down to the surface, the higher winds that is. So we do want to be cautious and alert pretty much the entire state minus the eastern UP and also northeastern lower that, hey, we could have some really gusty, perhaps some isolated severe wind gusts move across the state overnight into Saturday morning. So do keep that in mind. So overall concern is highest off into the southwest there, especially across Illinois, Missouri area. But as that line pushes up, we're going to see that enter southwest Michigan there in the yellow zone has the highest of our concern. And again, that's going to happen after midnight on Friday. Also, before I switch to the topic here, I would not be shocked to see an isolated brief spin up tornado threat there just because we have a lot of wind shear here. We'll talk about that in just a second, especially for that yellow zone. Okay, I'm not really concerned for tornadoes in the green or blue zones, but for that yellow zone, as these storms first arrive when they're the strongest, we may see a brief spin up or two as a possibility, or at least some rotation as a possibility. Okay, why are we concerned about that? Let's go ahead and dive into our ingredient list here. So here is your forecasted wind shear. This is going to be A little bit hard to understand here, but I'll circle the highest of the wind shear. So obviously this color over here is the highest of wind shear, the reds, orange, and yellows. But we do see the western part of Michigan here in a little bit more of a higher shear environment. And this is as those storms are arriving. So that's going to produce your damaging winds, but also why we're concerned for that brief tornado threat as well for Southwest Michigan in that exclusively to that Southwest Michigan area. So wind shear is not going to be an issue for these storms. There's a ton of it. We have about double to perhaps triple the amount of wind shear needed for severe weather coming in overnight into that Saturday morning time frame. So that's ingredient number one we have. Number two, we are seeing our dew points or our moisture, again, highest across Southwest Michigan here from roughly, we're going to say about Ludington, Manistee area down through about that Coldwater area where dew points could be in the mid 50s during this time frame. That's going to be a decent support for moisture. We'd like to see it closer to 60, if not 70 in the summertime, but it's spring. It's not going to be as moist, but mid 50s will get the job done with this type of system here. We're concerned again for that Southwest Michigan area for a brief tornado or two because the ingredients are coming together highest in Southwest. We could also see that translate further to the north and east as well throughout the overnight period. And that will also support the damaging wind gusts further into the central part of the Lower Peninsula. Last but not least, we have surface instability here on the model. As it moves through, we're going to see that also confined to pretty much two areas here, Western Michigan and also portions of the UP and the Western UP to be exact. That will bring the chance, again, for those higher wind gusts and also a brief tornadic threat for the southwest corner of Michigan. That surface cape does not really push further east, so the threat should die with time. Going back to the radar here, the further these push across the state, north and east, they'll get their strongest here when they first enter the state about 3 a.m., but as they move across, they should be dying and weakening with time because instability does wane. But again, this system, has a lot of upper level support to it that may continue to produce strong to perhaps severe wind gusts across the state. So that is your Friday time frame. Or sorry, your Friday evening into Saturday morning time frame. Now again, we do have concern as well for Saturday afternoon. We may see another round of perhaps severe weather for the eastern half of Michigan. Big if, and this is a key word, if we see a good return of moisture into the eastern part of the state. So right now we have the far eastern portion of Michigan and the thumb all the way back through Adrian in a low risk for severe weather. Further to the west there from Coldwater through Lansing up through Sheboygan in the blue zone, we do have a limited risk. That accounts for a storm that perhaps could be severe in that area, but overall concern is quite low in nature. The highest risk for the Saturday time period is going to be in that green zone further into the eastern half of the state. So why are we concerned for that? Let's go ahead and switch our model here over to the NAM. The NAM 3 model here, we're going to switch this over to what we're going to call supercell composite. This takes instability and wind shear, kind of overlaps it and spits out a good idea of where wind shear and instability could overlap here. We're going to see a good resurgence on Saturday back into especially the eastern half of the state here. So we could see central portions and points eastward in a decent environment once again for severe weather. But again, big keyword here is if we get enough moisture to surge back north into the region, which right now is uncertain. It could go either way. So we could either be talking about a no threat for Saturday or perhaps another round 2 threat, especially for the eastern half of Michigan. And again, threats would be the same. Damaging wind primary, would not rule out a brief tornado if everything comes together just right. But right now, again, uncertainty does play a factor in Saturday afternoon's forecast. Excuse me. Two other things I'll mention with this forecast is number one, the wind. The winds on Saturday, regardless of any showers or storms, will be quite strong in nature. We're talking winds across the entire LP, 40 to 50 miles per hour. In the UP, especially in the eastern UP, 30 to 40 miles per hour. And in the western UP, 20 to 30 miles per hour. In the LP, we could see isolated higher amounts, especially in that yellow hash zone from roughly Stanton to Saginaw, Lexington point southward. May get a 55 gust in there, perhaps. Isolated power outages are possible with these higher wind gusts as well, especially if we get close to 50 miles per hour. We could see some isolated power outages take shape across the LP. But overall, the winds will be quite gusty in nature come Saturday morning through the afternoon time period. And last but not least, we do have the GFS model pulled up here. It's going to likely produce a heavier swath of rain throughout the day on Saturday, we could see isolated areas across central or perhaps eastern Michigan of 1 to perhaps 2 inches of rain here. But generally speaking, the entire state gets a good soaking of rain, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, or higher across much of the state. So a good soaking rain as we are still in that drought. We are going to have to keep an eye on that moving into the spring and summer. We honestly need to knock that out of here because the drought's just it's not good for us, not good for farmers either. But generally speaking, we could see some areas receive about an inch or so of rain by the time we get to Sunday morning. That is your forecast. Again, kind of speed running through it. Friday evening, late around the 2-3 a.m. time frame, watch for storms to push up into Michigan. Those will move northeast with time. Wind threat is primary. Could see a brief tornado in very far southwest lower where we have better ingredients. Saturday is uncertain at this time, but Saturday is certain on one thing, and that is going to be windy and likely going to be rainy for us here, regardless of any severe weather in the state of Michigan. You guys enjoy your day. I'll catch you guys next time. Before I hop out of here, shout out to today's Spotlight sponsor, Kuiper Tree Care, based in Grand Rapids, South of Michigan area. For tree care cutting needs, 616-828-8225 is the number to call. And thank you to Kuiper for sponsoring today's YouTube video. With that being said, I'll catch you guys tonight, 7 o'clock at Michigan Storm Chasers Facebook and YouTube for a live briefing of what we just talked about here in a live format. You guys take it easy. I'll catch you guys later.